Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I got Kira with me today. She's back there styling today with her t-shirt and her cowboy boots and her sunglasses. We're heading out to Lowe's to pick up some supplies for a little DIY. Today we're making catfishy noodles, and if you don't know what catfishy noodles are, they're a lot of fun. But first, if you end up liking today's video, don't forget to hit subscribe. Definitely smash that like button and leave a comment down below. And check out our channel page. We've got a lot of videos on there, great content. There's something there for everybody, so check that out for sure. So, I'll see you at Lowe's. All right, y'all, the first thing we need is 3/4 inch PVC 5-footers. Boom. Let's grab some of those. We're gonna need 2 of them because we're gonna make our noodles a foot long each. We're gonna make 10 of them. What?
Can we get these 2 so I can make like a little bow staff?
You wanna make a bow staff?
Mm-hmm.
You can make a bow staff out of a stick.
What?
Yeah. PVC is expensive for bow staffs.
But sticks are gonna like scrape
Plus,
me.
don't you have like 5 bow staffs?
No.
I definitely gave you a bow staff for Christmas.
No, no, you didn't.
Well, we'll have to revisit the bow staff thing later.
What?
I think it'd be alright. Alright, y'all, let's get some 3/4 caps. We're gonna need 20 of those because we're gonna need 2 for each one.
3/4.
3/4 caps. You want to help me count them out? We're gonna need 20 of them. You want to hold them as I count them?
Yeah.
2, 4, 6, 8. All right, here's 10. Oh, that's not the right thing. All right, let's go put these 10 in the cart. Make sure we got the right amount. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. The funny part is, I guarantee I have at least half of these at home, but if I don't buy them, I won't end up having them at home. All right, so we got 20 caps. All right, we're gonna need some PVC glue. 14 bucks. There we go. That's all we need. 9 bucks. All right, now we're gonna need some other stuff. We're gonna need pool noodles, which we're not gonna get here. We need some little eyelets, which we're gonna cruise over and get in the hardware section. We're gonna need 1 for each. We're gonna need 10 of those. And we're gonna need some nylon string. All right, y'all, quick stop in the safety section because something else we need: reflective tape. All right, guys, for anchors, you don't need anything too special. Just need some threaded eyelet hooks. I'm gonna get the noodles here too, just because they're not too bad on price for something that's gonna be way higher quality than what the dollar store is gonna have. And the whole reason we went with 3/4 inch pipe is because that's the size that fits perfectly inside the noodles. Let's run through what we got real quick. We got our 2 pool noodles. What are you getting into? Oh, yeah, you can play with that. 2 3/4 inch 5-foot sections of PVC pipe. 20 3/4 end caps. Our eye hooks, we bought a 25 pack because it's cheaper than buying 10 in smaller packs. Reflective tape, 13-pound nylon cord, and PVC glue. Our total came out to $72.38 for everything that we bought, which is $7.32 per noodle at 10 noodles. I don't know, I ain't a math whiz, but it's right about there. So look, ain't nothing cheap anymore, if we're being honest. I mean, you guys know as much as I do, DIY, some of it you can still do cheap, some of it costs you a little more money. So yeah, they're a little over $7 a noodle, but they're gonna last a long time. And I promise you, the fun, the fun is gonna be worth it. And you can do them cheaper, you can do them differently. I chose to do them with quality products and spend a little more money because they're going to work better, they're going to last longer, and we're gonna talk about all of that when we put them together. So let's head home and do that.
Do I have my push pop?
You have your push pop.
I know, but can I open it?
Let's get breakfast first.
Okay.
Wanna get breakfast first?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to breakfast. How's your coffee, kid?
Good.
Is your banana bread good?
I love banana bread.
It's a very interesting way of eating it.
It's not. I just don't want to get my hands messy.
Okay. You do you, Buttercup. Hey everybody, welcome back to Casa de Penguin. So, to save a little bit of time, I've already cut the PVC pipe into 1 foot sections, and I cut the pool noodle, as you can see, into sections just slightly smaller than the pipe. So we got all our supplies here. We've got the noodle, the PVC pipe, the caps, the primer, the string, the reflective tape, the eyelets that you saw, everything we got at the store. There's some tape sitting here just because I went ahead and measured out a 2 foot section of tape. All the string that we put on these, we're going to put 10-foot lengths on there, and I'm going to use the tape to just quickly measure it out because it doesn't have to be perfect. So real quick, I'm just going to talk about the design. So yesterday, I met a guy named Patrick who had stopped by my house for something completely unrelated, and we just got to talking about fishing. And he got to talking about noodling and the way that he builds them. I have built noodles in the past similar, but these are different for a couple of reasons. And I never had a lot of great luck. And I'm going to go over a few of the things that he told me about, kind of hot tip stuff. For starters, I'm just going to mock one up real quick. I'm not actually going to put it together. Just want to show you what we're doing. So, your typical noodle is a piece of PVC pipe with some noodle on it. And when you, one end of it has an eye hook in it, and you tie the string to it, and you on the end of the string is a hook. The hook's down in the water with your cut bait, live bait, whatever, and it floats on the surface of the water like this, and when it gets a fish on, it pops up and down. So most people noodle at night. Seems to be when the most success happens. You can definitely do it during the day. In the research that I did before I decided to make this video today, people definitely noodle in the day, but by and far the majority are doing it at night. So at night, if a fish gets on, it's popping up and down, that's great, but some of these fish will get to swim in your noodle around. I mean, part of the fun is chasing down the noodle. Christian and I are going to go out and do some noodling real soon here in the kayak, so I'm hoping to get a couple of runners because we want to chase them down the kayak because that's just good fun. One of the tips Patrick gave me is reflective tape. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut this bad boy in half, and the eyelet will be on one end, but on the end that sticks up out of the water, we're going to wrap that bad boy with some tape. And what that'll do is at night when you're shining your flashlight around, it's going to reflect, it's going to pop, it's going to help you find your noodles. The other tip he gave me that I never really thought of before is to make your noodles in a couple different colors. We're doing 2 colors. And the reason for that is I asked them, how do you know, like, how do you deal with the different depths? Because I always just put like 2 to 3 foot of string on them. But sometimes you're in, 20 foot of water. Sometimes you're in 2 foot of water. And so what he said he does is they put however much string on there, and then they decide at the time when they're putting the noodles in how far out that or how deep down that noodle is going to be. So let's say, for example, the green ones are going to be at 10 foot. So we just let off all the string. Now they're at 10 foot. We know the green ones are at 10 foot. The orange ones, let's say they're going to be at 3 foot. We let off about 3 foot of string, wrap off what's left, and set it in the water. And when the fish bites on, yeah, it's going to pull all that line off, but it doesn't matter because you know that the orange ones were set at 3 foot. And if you're catching them on the orange ones but not the green ones, well, then that's where we got to be. So that's why I went with 2 different colors, was so that I could differentiate between what depths I'm running at. Now, one of the other tips that I got when I was researching came from someone else. Don't know their name. My apologies. What they said about the string was interesting. I've always used paracord or whatever, and it's a pain to thread through the hooks. So this guy talked about nylon string, and he said two things about it. One, get something that's cheap, and two, don't worry about what poundage it is. This one, I already mentioned it earlier in the video, I want to say is like 13 pound. The reason it doesn't really matter too much is when the fish hook on, and we're using circle hooks, we'll show those in a minute. When the fish hooks on, it's going to swim around with it, but the line is probably never going to be over 13 pounds worth of pull because it's just floating around. It's not like it's on a rod or something that's pulling against it. It's just floating around. The fish can swim with the noodle. I mean, that's kind of half the fun anyway, like we said. So let me grab the hooks because I forgot to bring them in, and then I'll show you what we're working with for hooks. All right, so the hooks we're using are circle hooks. These are 6/0 hooks. The reason we're using 6/0 is one of the other tips that I saw was from a guy who's been doing this like 30 years. And he said he uses 6/0 circle hooks because they still catch the smaller like channel cats and stuff, but they're hefty enough to catch the bigger boys. He said he's caught all ranges of catfish with no problems on these hooks because they're strong enough and big enough for the big boys, but they're small enough that they don't spook the smaller channel cats. Now, one thing I will mention, check your state laws. Here in Missouri, it's got to be tagged with our information. So what I'm going to do is I'll just write my conservation number right on the noodle so that I don't have to attach a separate tag or anything. And you just write it real big and neat. That way, not only is it visible, but as it fades out, you can just go back over it with the Sharpie. Now, a couple things. You do not have to glue them. I'm gluing them because I'm never planning on taking them apart, and I don't want them popping apart when a fish is on there, that's for sure. You do not have to use caps. These will work just with PVC through the noodle. I like the caps because it gives me something to attach the eyelet to, gives me something to keep the noodle from sliding off, and it's just a cleaner, nicer look. Got a piece of cardboard here. I'm working inside in the air conditioning today because it's hot outside, and I don't have the air conditioner on in the garage. So start with a green one. So obviously you want to put the noodle on first. Cap. Now, if you can find a drill bit that's a little smaller than your eyelet, and your eyelet doesn't have to be huge. I mean, these aren't anything too spectacular, but they'll get the job done. If you can find a drill bit to attach, if you can, man, I'm all off today. You know what I need? Hang on. That's better. Now we're working with a full deck. Okay, if you can find a drill bit slightly smaller than this to pre-drill your holes for threading in your eyelet, that's great. I could not, so what I did was I found a screw that's just small enough, and we're going to use that. You don't need thread locker or anything fancy on these. They ain't going to come out on you. I'm going to wait to drill the holes until after it's glued on so that I don't leak any glue or anything. First thing you want to do is use your primer, then your glue. You want to prime your cap and your PVC pipe. Whew. I love that smell. You know, shout out to Patrick for giving me this idea yesterday when he was here, because it's going to be a good time chasing these things around in the kayak. And I had kind of given up on and actually, matter of fact, I was cleaning the garage yesterday, and I found two of these, the old ones that I had made, and I had actually thrown them in my dumpster maybe 5 minutes before this guy came over. And when he left, I went and pulled him back out. All right. Got those on. And I purposely left space on either side of the noodle just so, A, I could have my reflective tape on there, and B, you just don't need the whole thing covered in noodle. Cover your whole pipe if you want to. I mean, Sometimes covering your whole pipe is strongly suggested. Maybe I should have drilled the cap before it went on there. Probably would have been easier with. This would have been so much easier if I could find the drill bit. I definitely should have done this before I put the cap on. The rest of them will be easier because I'm just going to go ahead and make a mess by pre-drilling them. There we go. Yep. Definitely changing up for the rest of them. That was a pain in the ass. Shut up. Oh, we're going to take a quick break because UPS is here and the dogs are just going to bark like crazy. So when you thread your eyelet in, as soon as you get to the shank, stop turning it. You don't want to turn it any further and start putting the shank through the hole. That's not going to work out well for you. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my tape right up under the cap here because I don't want it on the cap because the cap isn't smooth and the tape's going to end up bubbling up and being difficult. Just going to go right around here. That's a touch shorter than I wanted. That's okay. There we go. Now, like I said, we're going to put 10 foot of string on each one. 2, 4, and this is not an exact science. 6, 8, 10. Some people may require their depth to be an exact science. I'm not one of those people. Oh, I fucked that all up. Now, you can do whatever your favorite knot is. Honestly, don't even know what to call this knot, but it's the same way I tie on fishing lures. Give it a couple twists. Take your tag in. Go through that first twist there. I don't know how well you guys can see it. Bring your tag in back through that loop, and then when you get about there, let go of the tag in. Pull her tight. We're going to do the same thing here. Give it a couple twists. The larger the string, fishing line, whatever you're using, the less twists it needs. Wrap this the rest of the way up. And then when you get down to the hook, give it one last wrap there. Whoops. And stick your hook right into your noodle. There you go. There's a nice catfishing noodle right there. So, let's kick on some music and let's cruise through the rest of these. So a couple observations as I made them. Take a second, just order your reflective tape off of like Amazon. And the reason I say that is, where's my last one? My last one was my best one. There it is. This last one has the best reflective on it, and the reason is I used the full strip and just wrapped all the way around. I didn't trim the strip. The reflective tape at Lowe's was not the cheapest, as you saw, so I chose to just buy like one package knowing I was going to cut it up. And it's not a big deal. I mean, you're going to see the reflection, but you can get the tape cheaper on Amazon, and you'll be able to do it more like this because you'll have more tape for less money and you won't have to cut it up. The other big observation, I mean, honestly, my biggest pain with making these was just that I could not find my small drill bit and had to use this screw. Man, I really wish I had my drill bit for the pilot holes because I could have got these done way faster if I wasn't screwing, get it around with making the pilot holes with the screw. But other than that, I'm very happy. 10 noodles, super easy to do. Shout out to Patrick again. Thanks for the hot tip on the reflective tape. That was a great idea. I don't know who the other people were that I was researching. I didn't take notes, but the best tips I got were the nylon string, the 6/0 hooks, and the reflective tape, hands down for sure. So I really appreciate everyone else who's made these before me, and getting to use your knowledge really made it great. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you watching. Definitely hit that like and subscribe button. And you know what? Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you do different with your noodles or what you found that works and doesn't work. I'm always curious to learn, obviously, since I did research before I made these. I got our channel page, a lot of great content there, like I said in the beginning of the video. So I'm going to wrap this up. We'll catch you on the next video. Peace.